Welcome back to the channel. We've got a lot to cover tonight, so let's jump right in. The U.S. government is considering a major shift in its immigration policy with the introduction of the Gold Card visa program. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick confirmed that 250,000 people are already in line to apply. Each applicant would be required to pay $5 million, generating an estimated $1.25 trillion in revenue. The program is set to replace the EB-5 investor visa and is expected to attract high-net-worth individuals seeking residency in the United States. Meanwhile, in the UK, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced a significant boost in defense spending. By 2027, the UK's defense budget will rise to 2.5% of GDP, with a long-term target of 3%. This marks the most substantial increase in military funding since the Cold War. The additional spending will be offset by cuts to the international aid budget, reducing it from 0.5% to 0.3%. Starmer emphasized that these measures are crucial for European security as U.S.-led peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine continue. In Japan, the nation's declining birth rate has reached record lows. Government data shows only 788 births in 2024, continuing a 9-year downward trend. Despite efforts to encourage childbirth under former Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, births fell another 5% from the previous year. Experts link the decline to lower marriage rates, though recent statistics show a slight increase in marriages by 2.2% in 2024. With the fertility rate remaining well below the replacement level, Japan's demographic crisis mirrors trends seen in other major economies. Microsoft has officially announced the end of Skype. The once groundbreaking internet calling service will be discontinued on May 5th as the company shifts its focus entirely to Microsoft Teams. Skype, which launched in 2003, saw rapid success, leading to acquisitions by eBay and later Microsoft in 2011 for $8.5 billion. However, it struggled to compete with newer mobile-focused communication platforms like Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. In a statement, Microsoft acknowledged Skype's legacy, calling it an integral part of shaping modern communication. A measles outbreak in Ontario has escalated to 142 confirmed cases, the worst the province has seen in decades. Public Health Ontario reports that nearly all cases trace back to a single travel-related infection in New Brunswick last October. Although New Brunswick has since declared its outbreak over, Ontario continues to report increasing cases, with a surge beginning in mid-January. Officials say 97.9% of cases involve unvaccinated individuals, and 18 people have been hospitalized, including one in intensive care. The outbreak coincides with rising measles cases in the U.S., where Texas has recorded its first measles-related death since 2015. In the U.S., a former Navy sailor has pleaded guilty to conspiring to attack a naval base in Illinois. The Department of Justice confirmed that 38-year-old Xuanyu Harry Pang was involved in a plot linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Undercover FBI agents posing as IRGC operatives infiltrated the plot and gathered evidence, including encrypted communications and physical materials Pang provided, such as military uniforms and a remote detonation device. His primary motivation, according to court documents, was to avenge the 2020 killing of Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani. By pleading guilty, Pang faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has arrived in the UK for high-level meetings amid rising tensions with the US. Prime Minister Keir Starmer reassured Zelenskyy that Britain's support for Ukraine remains firm. His visit follows a recent meeting between Starmer and President Donald Trump, which Trump described as very positive. Zelenskyy's arrival comes ahead of a major European summit in London, where leaders will discuss long-term defense strategies for Ukraine. Reports suggest that Trump is considering ending U.S. aid to Ukraine and has privately requested a public apology from Zelenskyy to restore relations. However, in a recent interview, Zelenskyy denied ever disrespecting Trump. Trade negotiations between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada are intensifying ahead of President Trump's proposed tariffs set to take effect on March 4th. Mexican officials are in talks with U.S. cabinet members and have expressed interest in aligning their tariff policies with those of the U.S. and Canada against China. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called Mexico's proposal to match U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods very interesting. Meanwhile, Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly stated that Canada is open to discussions about adopting similar measures. Finally, in Washington, lawmakers are at an impasse over government funding. Senator Patty Murray and Representative Rosa DeLauro have criticized Republican leadership for abandoning bipartisan negotiations. Congress faces a March 14th deadline to pass a funding bill or risk a government shutdown. While both parties initially agreed to a spending level of $1.78 trillion, disagreements persist over proposed cuts to federal programs and workforce reductions pushed by the Trump administration. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.